Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I am back with another video. All right, y'all, just back with a real quick one here. Of course, I'm going to be talking about this more and more, man. But just had to come back here and give you my thoughts on once again Kayla Harrison bringing up the name Cris Cyborg, man. Of course, as y'all know, this past Thursday at PFL, Kayla Harrison, she was able to defeat Jenna Fabian, first round stoppage. I felt like going into this fight that this was going to be competitive to a certain extent, but I knew that Kayla Harrison, she had the ability to do what she did on the ground, but I thought it was going to take some time to get there. And, Jenna Fabian, she just kind of froze up in this fight, I think more so mentally. Because, she definitely had the size and she had the technical ability to give Kayla Harrison some trouble, but like I said, it's kind of like that Tyson factor. Not saying that she's on a level of Tyson, but whatever level you're on, I think you can kind of bring that intimidation factor where it kind of makes a fighter freeze up. And, though she's still on a lower level, the fighters that she's fighting and she's beating on this level, she still dominates mentally, and I think that Kayla Harrison was able to do that against Jenna Fabian. Jenna, like I said, hasn't been on this platform before of this level, and she hasn't been pushed the same way. So Kayla Harrison's been here over and over and over again, been fed these fights and, having the bright lights around her. So like I said, the bright lights and the publicity that you get, sometimes that can kind of be a lot more pressure than the actual fight, because some people, they can let it all go in the gym, actual like just fights in the gym, or even, of course, sparring sessions, but I actually mean like some fights when you actually just fight at a lower level, you can really go all out because it's just you and that person. But if you don't know how to black out or box out the surroundings around you, and kind of balance the the publicity, the press conferences, if you don't know how to balance all of that out, then it'll kind of mess you up when it comes down to getting in the octagon. And like I said, that's kind of how I think it worked out for Fabian. Like I said, shout out to Jenna Fabian. I definitely want to see her back in there. But Kayla Harrison, though, man, after this win, once again, she goes right back to talking that trash. She gets on that mic, and, like a lot of people said, they were cringed out by this one, and I'm just getting tired of her bringing up some names that she knows she's never going to fight, especially the name Izzy. Like, she thinks it's some big deal. Like, if Izzy couldn't stop her takedowns, she thinks that means you could beat a man. And I really don't want to hear that type of stuff right now. I really don't want to hear that type of stuff. Just stay in your lane. And like I said, I would rather her talk about Nunes and Cyborg. But as soon as she jumped back to Cyborg, now I'm just like, oh, man, do I want her to stop talking about Cyborg and just talk about Izzy, or vice versa? You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, man. Like, oh, man, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's just any name she brings up, it just gets a little bit cringeworthy here, man, especially when she's not knowing the level. And that's what I want to talk about. Knowing your level, man. Again, she brings up Cris Cyborg because, Cris Cyborg, she just took to Twitter and said, look, hey, I can make 155 pounds. Hashtag Grand Slam champion. By that, look, she means, hey, look, I'm a 4-belt champion, 4 organizations. I can make 155 pounds easy. And, I think we all know Cris Cyborg can make 155 pounds. So Kayla Harrison, she takes to social media herself. Once again, in her press conference, she says, we know she can make 155 pounds. Congratulations. Do you want a participation trophy? You can make it, but you can't beat me. All right, so my thoughts on that right there. I think we all know that Cris means she can make the weight, so make the fight. Cris Cyborg, much like a lot of these early champions, we don't believe in participation trophies. I know I'm not one. I'm not one to do, I don't believe in that either. But so she said, okay, you can make the weight, but you can't beat me. So again, just my thoughts on this is the fact that I think Kayla Harrison still needs to know her level. Eventually, could she get there to a level of being a challenge or possibly upsetting Cris Cyborg? Of course, you could get there. But you're not going to get there with a lot of trash talk and just thinking it's going to be an easy road. And I don't think that Kayla thinks it's going to be an easy road. I think she just kind of lets the cameras and the questions get to her where she feels she has to answer in a certain way. And when she answers in a certain way and she gives them what they want, it's more so rubbing the fighters the wrong way. You start calling out these fighters and, hey, they're going to bomb back. When you call out a Nunes or you call out a Cris Cyborg, they're going to be like, yo, I'll take that right now then. You want to fight me? I'll take it now. Because Cris is always looking for a challenge. Nunes is always looking for a challenge. Double champions, like I said, 4-belt champions. Why would they not want to fight her now, especially when there's a lot of money behind it? So for me, I think Kayla Harrison just needs to kind of work her levels, like I said, and then eventually get there. I know a lot of people are saying Clarissa Shields shouldn't be bringing up Amanda Nunes' name. Hell, Kayla Harrison shouldn't be bringing up Cris Cyborg's name right now. She still shouldn't be bringing up her name, no matter, even if she is a little bit more advanced and more skilled than Clarissa Shields. Neither one of them should be mentioning Nunes or Cyborg's name, in my opinion. They need to be building their own legacy. It's kind of like in boxing when everybody mentions Mayweather's name or Manny Pacquiao's name. No, y'all need to build your own legacy. And I think Kayla Harrison, eventually, if you just continue to do what you do, the match will come organically. You know what I mean? Like, it'll eventually get there to that point where when you run out of belts to get from other organizations, if you did beat every fighter, on the tier that you graduate to, then eventually you get to that level where people say there's only one fight left for you, and that's the big boss. You know what I mean? If that person's still around. That's why I say, like, it's not something that she needs to worry about, because Nunes and Cris Cyborg might not be around any longer. You know what I mean? They might not be in the game any longer. So Kayla Harrison still needs to make her own lane. She still needs to kind of make her own lane here and not worry about those names. That's why I say, look, anytime like these young fighters that are coming up in the game, they just need to kind of work their own lane and just continue to, win, graduate each tier. And then eventually, if that person is still around, that fight will make sense, because we could just go back and look at the resume here. Like, you just go back and look at Cris Cyborg, her first 11 fights in the game. I think she got her first 11 fights in the game in a 5-year span. And she has some good talent on there. She has much better talent than Kayla Harrison. With Kayla Harrison, she started in 2018, right? And she's racked up, her first 11 wins in 3 years. Well, that's still different. Like, yeah, you might have been more active in 3 years than Cris was, but Cris was doing a lot behind the scenes. She was growing as a fighter, learning different styles, disciplines, her wrestling, her jiu-jitsu. She was putting her striking together. I mean, her boxing's really just been coming together over the past few years, but, her Muay Thai, it's something she's always had that Clarissa Shields didn't. Better balance and better striking IQ. That's something she had early on, to me, more so over what Kayla Harrison has shown. So if you go back and look at the hard work that Cris Cyborg was putting in, like for the first 11 fights from, let's say, when did she debut, back in 2005? Was it 2005, I think? Up to like 2010, 2011. You could say that her road was much more harder. It was much more harder because she put in more work, even like I said, behind the scenes, and, fighting everybody from Vanessa Porto and Gina Carano off top. But Kayla Harrison being more so fed certain fighters. And like I said, too, man, I was kind of, wondering how, there's some questions here, PFL politics going on. Larissa Pacheco, like, I can't understand how she missed weight and she got out of the tournament this time around when she was looking good. I don't know what type of scripts are being written here, but you have to kind of question that too. I know Kayla Harrison is kind of being matched up with certain fighters as well. That's what's making her look good too. So that has to be factored in. That definitely has to be factored in, and I'm going to address that because, yeah, she's winning and she's dominant, but this tournament's not like some of these other tournaments out there. It's not like this Combate tournament I just seen like a couple weeks ago. It's not like Invicta FC's tournament. It's not even like the Tough House tournament where winners fight the winners. There just seems to be a lot of narrative changes here and pages being torn out of the script that kind of fit her. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, because you can look at the hard road of Cris or Nunes. It wasn't done that way. Shevchenko, it wasn't done that way. But for Kayla, it's kind of like, okay, Pacheco missed weight. What? She missed weight, now she's out, and I just can't believe that, man. She was just looking so much better than she was this time around. How does Pacheco miss weight at the time she's the biggest threat ever for Kayla Harrison? You know what I mean? And then I think Caitlin Young had to get pulled out of a fight too. I think she's going to address that too, man. I don't know what it has to deal with right now, but I guess politics or whatever. But yeah, so you just have to look at that too. Like, when a story's kind of being reconstructed for one fighter and the other fighter is really taking the hard road, like, how tough are you really? You know what I mean? How tough are you really mentally? So I think that Kayla Harrison right now doesn't even really need to be addressing Cyborg. Like even if Cyborg did call her out, I think she should just ignore it for now and just say, look, I'm making my own legacy. If she said that, I would give her more respect. Say, oh, you want to make your own legacy? That's good. That's good. Do your own thing at 155 pounds, So just do your own thing at 155 and graduate each tier. Because Kayla Harrison did say, look, I'm tired of, if I can't get any, well, she didn't really say I'm tired, but she's like, if I can't get any more opponents here that are going to give me the challenge for PFL, I'm done. Which after this season, she is done, right? She's becoming a free agent. Correct me if I'm wrong. So from here, she could go to the UFC or Bellator. So just because she's going to one of these organizations, in my opinion, it still doesn't mean that she's ready for a Nunes or a Cyborg. Because what do we say about fighters like Manon Fiorot, right? Manon Fiorot was a champion for UAE. She's not going straight in, getting the title shot against Valentina Shevchenko, right? We're all saying people are still saying she needs to prove herself. So why would Kayla Harrison get a Cris Cyborg fight right away in Bellator without having to fight her way up? She's got to do like everybody else to me, because PFL rankings are different than Bellator rankings. Bellator rankings are different than UFC rankings. So to me, each level you have to graduate, and you have to look damn good. You have to look advanced to maybe skip a few fights too, to make us say they are ready or you are ready for this person. Like Manon Fiorot, if she blasts out Mayra Bueno Silva and blasts out maybe one or two more people, that might advance her quicker. But if she looks average against Mayra Bueno Silva, that might prolong her quest to the top. It might make her fight 3 or 4 fights. The more she wins and gets struggle W's, it'll probably make her have to fight, 4 or 5 more fights and kind of put her on the back burner a little bit here and there. But for Kayla Harrison, same situation goes for me. Just because you're a PFL champion doesn't mean you'll be the UFC champion or the Bellator champion, because there's levels to the game. So from here, I think it would be more, as a realist, for me, it would be much more logical for Kayla Harrison to say, yo, Julia Budd, you want it? Let's do it. I want Julia Budd, or hey, Kat Zingano, I'm gonna retire. If she was calling out names like that, I'd be like, oh, okay, I see what she's doing. She wants some common names, fighters that Amanda Nunes and Cris Cyborg fought. She wanted to thrash them out and build up her resume, and then eventually get to them. She wants to box them in somehow. That's how game plan goes. You got to get some common names. Look at them boxing. Boxing, same thing's going over here with Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz. They're getting some common names of Terrence Crawford and Spence on their resume. So eventually they can say, look, I'm graduating to this level. You know what I mean? So it's just, something, like I said, I just wanted to come back and talk to y'all about, because hearing Kayla Harrison just say these things about Nunes or Cris Cyborg, that you can beat them. I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. I don't think you can now, and I don't think you can 2 years from now until I see something from you in the middle. You can't go from a PFL to the Bellator champion or the UFC champion. It just doesn't work like that. But yeah, we'll talk more about it, guys. Like I said, it all comes down to levels, and I think if she does get fed a Nunes fight right away, it'll be psychologically damaging. It has to be a process. Same with the Cris Cyborg quest. If she goes to Bellator, it has to be a process. It has to be a process. It has to be names on your resume. Call out, some of these fighters like Pam Bam Sorensen there that are there now. Jesse Mielit. Some of these fighters there. You didn't want to fight Chelsea Chandler, those names like that. Whenever Invicta FC was giving you an opportunity, hell, go back there. Go back there. Because look at Cris Cyborg's resume. Let me address that too. I almost forgot about that. Like, even with Cris Cyborg's level that she's on now, it's almost disrespectful for Kayla to call that out, because look at all the belts that Cris has won to get where she's at. Why would Cris entertain a fight with her anyways? Like, why would Cris actually feel threatened or need to feel like I got to fight somebody that's 3 years in the game with 11 fights with only 1 belt in 1 organization, where she's been in the game, more than a decade, Strikeforce champion, Invicta FC champion, UFC champion, and now the Bellator champion, right? So why would somebody with that many years in the game and that decorated have to feel like they have to go to your organization, even move up to your weight to fight you when you only been in the game 3 years. You know, with 11 fights that nowhere touches Cyborg's resume. Another thing to think about, right? Which is what we'll probably talk about a little bit more in this live stream tonight. You know, when if I get on tonight. But yeah, guys, I just want to come through and do a discussion video with y'all here. I've been kind of busy this week. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section what y'all think of the whole situation. Like I said, for most of y'all that are hardcore fans, y'all know levels. But I know some of the people that, you know, are casuals or just fans of Kayla Harrison, they'll think I'm hating. But nah, man, I just don't want to see anybody get hurt in there. And I don't want to see anybody try to jump levels and haven't proven themselves. You know what I mean? You got to do the hard work just like everybody else does. You know, no favoritism here. Combo Breaker 99, guys. Let me know. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.